This is one of the best, if not the best mods you can do to a crazy kart. The main thing we're adding is a big battery and a voltmeter, but while we're here, we're going to put on some better back wheels as well. There's a lot of people that use longboard wheels, but you need to modify the caster for that. If yours is a red Series 1 crazy kart, the rollerblade wheels bolt straight in. We're going to put these on the black Series 2, because as you can see, this one's a bit dead. These will need a small spacer. This is all pretty self-explanatory. You just take the screw out of the side. Because this bracket's bigger, we need a spacer for the wheel. The easiest place to get it is push out one of the bearings in the original reel, smash it with a hammer, and then you get the inner race out of it. The inner race is exactly the right diameter and size to be used as the spacer. We put the two original spacers, the wheel, the race from the inner race from the original bearing, and then we're ready to tighten it up. The next thing you need is to remove the old batteries. I won't go into depth because the Series 2, the battery's here, and Series 1, the battery's at the back, so it's different for the two of them, but basically it's done screws. The only thing we need from the original batteries is the plug, so we'll cut that off. The only really tip I have to give you here is don't cut both wires together because this is live power and you'll short it out. So cut one and then cut the other. So we can chuck these because they're old and stuffed. So this is the new battery. It's 10 cell, which means it's 36 volt. It's also 18650 cells, which is a much better cell. So it holds significantly more power than the old ones. Apparently it holds 100,000 milliamps, 100,000 milliamps, which it doesn't. I think it's probably about 8,000 milliamps, which still goes for way longer than the original ones did. Basically, we're just going to cut the end off it. Same deal with the other one, cut them both separately and don't let them touch because they're together. The only thing you have to look out for when you get a battery is find one that has BMS, which is a battery monitoring system. That's what this lump on the top here is. Basically, it's a little board that'll stop you being able to over discharge it or over current discharge it. So all we're going to do now is you can either solder these together, but I feel like crimping them together because I don't want to get the soldering iron. If you're really worried about accidentally letting the two wires touch each other, just do one side at a time. So now that we've got our leads crimped on, we'll just double check that it actually works and they're all connected properly. So that's good. There's about 10 different ways to attach this in place. I'm not going to go too far into it because like I said, it's going to be different depending on which one you have. But I would recommend removing the side covers because now that we've gone from 24 volt to 36 volt, the stock electronics do hold it okay, but the motor gets hot. So that's the thing that kills it. So letting air through there is good. It pretty much will last fine as long as you're not doing anything crazy like riding it to the shops and back and just keeping it pinned for 10 minutes. The problem is, I do ride this to the shops and back. So what we're going to do is install a motor temperature gauge, and this will also give us our battery percentage so we can see how much range we've got. So to actually mount our gauge, I want it up here. I designed this little 3D printed part that fits over the two existing rails, and the gauge snaps into it. This gauge will fit on the red and the black crazy kart, Series 1 and 2. I'll put the link to the STL in the description for this so you can download it for free and print them off yourself. I'm aiming for 10,000 subscribers, so if you can give me a hand with that, that'd be awesome. I'm putting out a video every Friday and I'm always keen for comments and feedback on what you think. But we'll drill 2 holes for this so I can cable tie it down and a hole for the wiring to go through, and then we're ready to wire it up. The red one has a gap in the bars already, so it doesn't need a hole drilled. Now that we have our 3 holes, I can cable tie down the mount. I did originally design these to be glued down, that's why it's got such a nice fit over the bars, but the glue does rattle off after a while and can't really beat cable ties to be honest. The last thing we can do is thread our wiring for the gauge through the hole. The wires coming out the back of our sensor are separated into 2 bits. There's the black and the red, which is the power. There's this one with a little ball on the end. This is the temperature probe. So what I do with this is we push it down through the hole where the stock motor wiring goes. There's another little 3D printed piece that this fits inside, and all we do is run a cable tie through the top of this and cable tie it so the sensor is held hard up against the side of the motor case. If you had some thermal paste, probably a good idea to put some on there as well. Okay, so our sensor is now tight cable tied to the side of the motor. We'll just make sure that the wire's not going to get caught on anything, and we'll add some cable ties to it to hold it to the stock wiring to make sure it doesn't end up getting stuck anywhere when we turn the steering wheel. Now all I've done is popped the switch out. The red wire's got to go to the outside red terminal, and the black wire goes to the outside black terminal. I'm just soldering it to the spade connector so I can still unplug it. And we can clip the switch back in, see if it works. And there we go. So my view from the driver's seat now, I've got my display right in front of me with my battery voltage. I can also have my motor temperature, it's currently 20 degrees. You can calibrate these to give you a beeping alarm when it gets low and to set what voltage you want 100, what voltage you want 0. So you can do all that through the manual for this. So that was a nice short video for tonight. This thing is a fair bit faster top speed now than 36 volts, and I have my battery and my temperature gauge. So remember, I'm aiming for 10,000 subscribers. If you can give me a hand getting there, that'd be awesome. I'm putting up a video every Friday, some of them little simple ones like this and some more involved. Leave a comment, tell me what you thought, and goodbye. I'm going to spend the rest of the night driving this around.